Hello, guys. Welcome back to Tweedle Time. I am once again host Andrew, and I have my co-host James.
Yep, co-host James.
Once again, we decided. Okay, technically this is the first recording we're gonna have him in. So, Kyler, would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
Yeah. This is my first time being here. Right?
Okay, we're not gonna even pretend.
Yeah,
We re-recorded an earlier episode with Kyler, so we may have claimed that that was his first episode. Technically, we claimed that he was our first special guest. So we're technically still not wrong.
Yeah, he is actually our first special guest.
So all worked out.
In all the technicalities, it works.
So we're probably gonna have to post that next week, just due to that fact that we don't want to ever have that issue because we can only have Kyler on and still be right.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
So we're probably posting Bordergirl next week.
Yeah, all right.
But
Sounds
right
good.
now, we're going to talk about the topic. It's the Mongols and how they were the best thing ever.
Oh, best
They-
thing.
they
Well,
were-
Byzantines were better, but
We're trying to release some propaganda. I mean, proper
What?
content.
yes, no propaganda here. Genghis Khan did nothing wrong.
Yep. Is that correct, Kyler?
Oh yeah, that is. I have to agree 100%. Along with Kublai Khan.
Kublai Khan.
Kublai Khan.
So
Kublai
just to
Khan.
show how much that he didn't do anything wrong, we're going to start from the very beginning and talk about it. So, James, you want to start off like usual, or do you want me to start?
You can start off, mate.
Okay, so basically, this guy, I forgot his name, starts with a T for his original name, but we're still going to call him Genghis Khan throughout this entire thing, because that's all he's best known from anyways.
Baloney.
So, James, you care to continue interrupting me?
Yeah, I'll interrupt you if I feel like interrupting you.
Objection!
You aren't the main
There is no
leader
yelling
here.
objection
This
here.
is a co-thing. We have equal authority over
We'll
each
talk
other.
about that when you start editing the videos for me.
You know what, Andrew? You can get out, because I don't know how to edit.
Is it even a podcast anymore? Because technically that is his podcast. I mean, it's called.
It's literally a corruption
It's
of my last
Tweedle
name.
time.
It's literally
I
a
knew
corruption of
it.
my last name.
Corruption? That seems a bit strong.
That's like literally what it is.
Okay, we're
tried-
getting sidetracked.
We are getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyler.
Yep. So back on topic. So like I said, Mongols. So pretty much there's a bunch of steppe tribes and just in like the area basically where it's Mongolia, and they were very much not united and very much fought against each other, and a lot of them paid tribute to the Jin dynasty in China.
Jin Dynasty.
Dynasty in China,
It's a card.
which was more or less the Song dynasty sucked, so they lost control of the north, and then they got in power there.
Yeah, Song Dynasty was really concerned with culture and
Art.
yes, and not their borders and military.
Yeah, that wouldn't lead to a downfall or anything.
That hasn't happened in other places. Cough, cough, Japan.
Don't worry. We'll come back to you, Japan. Lucky
Ridiculous.
lucky Japan. But we'll talk about that one. Anyways, ignore that. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Basically, he was a son of a really the actual leader of the Mongols. He died. Genghis wasn't a strong leader to them, so they kind of just abandoned him.
Yeah.
That was fun times. He went to war with, I think, was it Tartars was first?
Tartars.
It could have been. I don't remember.
Well,
who
that
was
was
first.
wasn't that after he got like the support of a bunch of tribes and
Yeah,
stuff?
he might have been. All I know is he beat up one of the things. He got his wife back.
Yeah, he got
did.
a wife, and then he lost his wife, and then he got his wife.
Don't worry,
back.
this was common back then.
Yeah,
it was common.
It was pretty common for you if you wanted a wife, you just go out find
Hey,
someone. and
you look
grab her.
interesting.
Yeah.
You want to be my wife?
No.
Too bad.
like a
Let's see
week.
how it goes.
And then she got stolen. He finally got her back. That's kind of nice. And then with this other group was also pretty popular. And basically, was just those two were uniting together. And then the guy had a different opinion from Genghis. So
You
he
talking
kinda,
about his best friend?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he had a differing opinion. So like any reasonable person, like Joseph Stalin would say, we don't let our enemies have guns, and guns are more dangerous. Ideas are more dangerous than guns. So why should we let our enemies have ideas? So
I think you butchered that, wasn't it? Ideas are dangerous. So why would
I think it was ideas
more
are dangerous than guns.
So why would we let our enemies have guns?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think if 50% to say that
That
we don't let
sounds
our
about
enemies
right.
have guns, so why should we let them have ideas either? Was the quote.
Yeah,
Either way,
it's this
Joseph
whole
Stalin, it doesn't matter. Quote,
That's Joseph Stalin. I wouldn't listen to anything he says. That guy was minorly insane.
They made it really well industrial.
Yes, he made Russia very industrialized very quickly
with very little downsides.
Oh, so few
but
downsides.
We'll save that one for
that
later.
Anyone would talk about.
Would be killed.
They would be killed.
Or sent to the gulags.
Oh, yes, they can voice their opinions in Siberia.
Okay, well, I guess we should move on. Just due to
wow,
the
we
fact.
just keep getting sidetracked left and right here.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
it's mildly entertaining.
It is.
Back on topic, like I said multiple times now. Yeah, they united. Basically, his best friend had differing ideas, so Genghis may or may not have committed not alive to him.
It was a whole thing. Like, he had differing opinions, and so they went off in two different directions. And then Genghis didn't like him very much, and his friend didn't like Genghis, so then his friend joined the people Genghis was fighting, and they fought each other. And then at some point, Genghis captured his friend, and his friend was like, you know what, I'd just kill me. And Genghis was like, you know what, yeah, sure, whatever. And
then he's dead now. He's united to basically all what we say would be modern Mongolia.
Oh, that's what happened. That was the whole conflict. He was trying to unite the tribes.
Yeah.
And his best friend started gathering a support of a couple of different tribes, so Genghis had to defeat him to get the support of all the tribes, and that's why it was a problem, because neither of them wanted to be led by someone else.
So they eventually got that settled. So now...
settled.
Then they invaded one of their nearby neighbors. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but because they weren't that important to history, no offense. They didn't really do too much.
Wasn't it just the Tartars?
No, it wasn't the Tartars.
Didn't they invade the Tartars first?
No, they may have invaded the Tartars, but that wasn't the... No,
didn't they invade
If they
Jin
did,
first?
No, Jin was the second one they invaded. They invaded this random state, right? Like nomads. They conquered that, and then the Jin attacked them afterwards after agreeing not to.
Oh, cough Nazi Germany. Taking a leaf out of their book.
And then they went back. Genghis took their capital and a bunch of their land, and then they moved their capital further south, and then Genghis Khan saw that as a challenge, so...
Oh, you're going to move your capital south? I guess I'm coming to that.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to conquer it, all the rest of it right away. He'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So then he decided to, continue invading further to the west, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, he'd meet this nice Islamic empire. It starts with a K.
It's like Khwarizm.
Yeah, there was a pretty nice... I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty neat civilization and everything, but...
It wasn't a civilization, I would call it. It was more like just a little empire. Not even really an empire, it was just a nation.
It was a really cool nation, but the problem was that, it was pretty prosperous, so it's like, why don't we get some pretty sick trade deals out of it, send some ambassadors over.
Oh, yeah, by the by, Genghis Khan didn't just immediately start invading. He would send ambassadors like, all right, you trade with us, it'll be all good, and I guess swear allegiance to Genghis Khan.
To the most part, not all of them, some of them were like straight up saying, join us or die. There were a few of those, but for the most part...
Hey, that's a little harsh.
It
was like, join us or there will be unfortunate consequences.
There we go.
I was just about to
my
say
bad,
that.
My
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
My bad. And then this one wasn't that. This one was we're gonna set up a nice trade network. Maybe bring back the Silk Road. Everything will be great.
Yeah.
And then they killed their ambassadors, accusing them of being spies. So Genghis sent some more ambassadors to talk over this and then only forgive everything as long as they killed the governor who sent them to death. And then they sent those people to death and sent back the heads.
So then Genghis got mad and he went to the place and he took down the whole nation.
Yeah, annexing most of it.
Yeah, he annexed basically all of that.
Because he didn't want to annex all of it because he was like, I don't want to go too fast now.
Gotta keep it.
Despite the fact that
pace.
the Mongols conquered more land in 25 years than the Roman Empire did in 400.
Yeah, they were going pretty quick. It was pretty
Being the
impressive.
largest continuous land empire by the end of its full borders.
Stupid Britain having to take the title of biggest empire. This whole thing was stupid.
Did I hear imperialism?
No, you did not hear imperialism.
That'll be a fun topic for later.
That would
it's
be.
a fun topic, but it's also really stupid because Europe is bad at being nice.
I love the way that's being phrased.
Yeah, they're bad at being nice.
That's like a beautiful way of phrasing it.
Hey, Kyler, how much do you know about the nomads, like the soldiers? Was that what you researched?
No, I mostly researched about like their cavalry.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, the Mongols themselves were nomads, Kyler. There you go.
Yeah,
The Mongols were nomads. All they really had was cavalry.
They herded animals instead of really focusing and settling down with agriculture because it worked for them.
Yeah, it did, and they traded a lot. Before they were, going and taking over the world, they were trading with the stuff that they collected because they were like hunters.
It'd be like running around outside of cities, doing stuff with animals because that worked pretty efficiently, and that's pretty much why their supply lines didn't ever really exist in the first place.
Yeah, actually, didn't they see their horses, like one of them?
Basically, horses were a really important thing to the Mongols, which makes sense.
All rode horses.
After all, the horses were basically the reason why they were so good at fighting in general. That and their bows.
They had really good cavalry, and their bows were phenomenal.
Their bows were
also, they had stirrups.
Also,
which might not seem like a big thing, but to be able to kind of stand a little steady when you're trying to shoot a bow is pretty helpful.
Yeah, not only that, one of like the biggest things that Genghis did is that he promoted his generals based on skill.
Yeah, it was all
and loyalty instead of entirely based on who your father was.
Yeah, it's merit, not the weird heritage thing that the Europeans had going.
Yeah. It wasn't just Europe. Asia. A lot of the Asia did that.
Well, basically,
India was well known for that one.
India and their baloney.
I should also mention that they did use some gunpowder in like late.
They did use gunpowder like the 13th century. Yeah. It wasn't an extensive amount.
I personally prefer talking about the fact when they were the first country to ever use biological warfare.
Hey, that was one time. It was one time that this happened, and they deserved it.
It's just like America. It's that one time. It may have been twice.
No,
with nuclear weapons, it happens.
It was when they were sieging the city of Baghdad, because the city was resisting a lot.
I thought they did that in the modern day Russia.
No, they didn't do it in Russia. They did it in Baghdad.
Okay, they sent bodies with the bubonic plague.
They threw disease-ridden corpses over the walls, which honestly isn't that bad. That's not that bad. It could have been like anything else. It could have been the biohazard weapon in Plague Inc.
Like, this is not actually like some like when we talk about biological warfare, we're not talking about this is like very, very primitive biological warfare technology.
Yeah.
It's a corpse died of something. Let's just send that corpse over the wall and hope to spread the disease.
Yeah. That's basically what they did.
Pretty much you could just burn the body and it wouldn't have been much of an issue.
Yeah. I don't think they did that. I think
they weren't smart.
Oh, shoot.
But anyways, we're back to talking about Genghis's conquest.
Yeah.
So pretty much after finally conquering that whole civilization, Genghis kind of promptly died.
What?
It's unknown how he died. And
Didn't he conquer a lot of Russia? How much of Russia did he conquer before?
I think he conquered a little bit. Like it's kind of disputed a bit, like how much he conquered into Russia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But for the most part, like he didn't do too much. Like this would be more his successors.
Whoa. Didn't do too much?
No, Genghis himself, not the Mongols.
Yeah, Andrew.
That's what I'm referring to. Like there would be a lot of conquest. Don't get me wrong, into Europe.
Yeah, like absurd amounts of conquest.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put it absurd, but they didn't conquer like half the continent.
That's absurd amounts of conquest.
They didn't do.
They had a land war in Asia and they won. They should have fallen for one of the classic blunders, but they didn't.
But yeah, but anyways, that part we'll talk about probably a bit later. But Genghis kind of died. His body's unknown where it is today because he had everyone involved in the funeral and the preparing his body and everything and burying him killed to ensure that no one knew where he was buried.
Actually,
they had a tomb for him and everything.
Yeah, but
it got raided and destroyed. Now we don't know where it is.
Actually,
so we're kind of screwed.
If it was a landmark where everyone knew, how many visitors do you think?
No, it was supposed to be secret. Like no one's supposed to know it.
It was a secretive tomb. Yeah, some people just found it and they were like, I'll take that.
Yoink.
Yoink. It's like everyone ever when they find a tomb.
If we actually found his body, we could actually figure out his cause of death, but we don't, so we don't know his cause of death.
We don't have that.
No.
That's the unfortunate part. Yeah, well, nonetheless, he's dead. He's one of his sons. I think his third son was the one that took power after him.
He had a bunch of sons because...
Currently, I think there's 16 million direct descendants of Genghis still alive currently. That's fun.
Well, you know, when you're rich, you can attract a lot of.
To be fair, compared to there's
Women.
like one ancient African king who had remember correctly, impregnated 6 million.
Come again?
I think no, that's 600. I think he impregnated someone like in total, like between all his multiple wives, he had like 600 children.
He had 600 kids.
Yes.
Why?
I find that believable.
Why not?
Shut up,
That's
Tyler.
like the best way I could put it.
I guess if you want to make positive that you're going to have an heir later.
It's see, the problem with King Henry the Eighth is that he could never get he really hard getting a male heir. So if you have that many kids, it's guaranteed you're gonna get one.
Yeah, if it's 50-50 on a boy or a girl and you have 600 kids.
Or you're like the worst, have like the worst luck ever. It's technically possible. You don't.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
I would be quite impressed.
Flip a
But
coin 600 times, you get heads every time.
gosh darn it!
There's a minuscule chance.
And technically, odds are slightly in favor of being born a male. Like I think it's like 51 to 49.
Yeah, it
Technicality.
probably is.
Isn't there, aren't there more females?
There are more
right now,
females
though?
because men are more likely to die during childbirth, as well as just in general due to like conflict and war and everything.
Well,
As
yeah.
well as they don't live as long. So there are more women.
Also, we just don't live as long in
That's
general.
why there's more
so-
women in
Yeah.
the world, but there's technically more males births. So that's
Lovely.
that. Anyways, back on topic of the Caesar thing. The Caesar managed to push pretty far into basically his modern day Russia and Eastern
Oh,
Europe.
yeah. Incredible feat there. They conquered Russia.
Yep, in the winter, nonetheless.
Yeah, find me another anything.
Or
that is
conquering Afghanistan, I might add.
Oh, yeah, they conquered Afghanistan, too.
Yep.
Didn't Russia try that later?
Yeah,
And they just...
so did
didn't-
Britain.
Oh, everyone trying to conquer Afghanistan, failing.
Same thing with Russia, Sweden, France, and Germany.
Wow. Yeah. Unfortunately, Russia is very difficult to beat in the winter. And so the Mongols simply sidestepped the primary problem of supply lines by not having supply lines.
And just feeding off the land.
Yeah,
Actually,
they're-
if we're talking about
well, they didn't feed off the land. They just brought the animals with them.
Yeah.
They just had the supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
If we're talking about them spreading to Afghanistan, doesn't that mean they would probably go for India?
They tried that a few
They
times.
did try to go to India, but
The
But-
mountains and the hot weather and the sand. And,
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Also tried to going down to basically modern day Vietnam, but the problem once again was jungle warfare was not their specialty.
yeah, it was just the type.
Same
of
thing. They
terrain.
they
I
also
can
tried
kinda see
invading.
that.
This is a bit later. Once again, they tried invading Indonesia. But once again, jungle warfare not fun.
Yeah, they also tried invading Japan.
But let's wait till we bring up Kublai Khan because this is literally
Kublai Khan.
this happened twice under Kublai Khan. Also, I think I mentioned that they conquered Korea, but it kept rebelling.
It kept
Forever.
rebelling. It just kept rebelling.
It just wouldn't stop.
Stop Korea. It's almost as many revolutions as France. Almost as many revolutions.
Almost as many
France.
coups as.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, that's our topic.
999
apparently.
revolutions per minute.
Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, successors. Like I said, conquered quite a bit into Eastern Europe. They probably would have continued going, but Poland's not surprisingly difficult to conquer.
Poland was difficult to conquer.
You remember like their whole, they had like a really good cavalry. Poland back in the day.
Is this back when there was Poland, Lithuania?
No, I don't remember. This is I don't think they were quite Poland, Lithuania, but Poland back then did some pretty good cavalry. It was like the winged ones.
Yeah,
They were known pretty well for that.
they would have some pretty good mounted The
Like, that
Europeans had good cavalry, but
Yeah, that's like the one thing Poland's actually good at when it comes to warfare is like cavalry, and that's about it.
that's why they were so helpful during World War I and II, because they had like awesome cavalry in the tank machine gun warfare.
That's the only reason why Poland managed to win that Polish-Soviet war,
Oh yeah, they managed to win they win the whole Soviet-Polish war with their cavalry.
as well as beating the Ottomans. Like that was like the one thing that was great about Poland in general.
They're not though. They're not. Get out.
Poland's not great at warfare. Okay, we said it. We're done.
Yeah, no, Poland's not good.
Anyways, besides that, that's for the most part how that front went. It was more or less them conquering the Russian states.
Yeah.
With pretty good efficiency.
Which actually kind of helped Russia because it unified them for the most
Yeah,
part under the Mongols.
Yeah, we'll probably if we have time, we'll talk about that a bit because why not?
Yeah.
Pretty much a few. I think a few
That's
like
not
two more successors would happen, and then there was like a whole civil war for the next successor, which Kublai Khan managed to win because the Ilkhanate Khanate as well as the Golden Horde did not support the idea. No, sorry, the Ilkhanate Khanate actually wasn't support it. It was the just the C Khanate. I looked at the pronunciation. I forgot it already. I think it was the Ching. No,
That doesn't sound right.
it wasn't. It was a thing on a map. I'll definitely remember if we're looking at if watching this on YouTube. I'll definitely remember to put a map. And yeah, feel free to roast me in the comments.
I will roast you. I swear, I'm gonna. Find
Anyways,
out what this
basically,
is. I'm gonna roast you so hard.
they didn't support him. Then he managed to win that whole thing and became the very last great Khan of the empire. After that, King Kublai Khan did do a few more conquests. He managed to make Korea not revolt.
Whoa, he did.
Yeah, that was like one of his good things. He also managed to conquer the Song dynasty because he wants to be the ruler of all of China, not just some of China.
So then after he conquered, he instituted like a whole new dynasty. What dynasty was it? It's like,
It was the no.
It was like the Yuan.
Yeah, the Ying.
No, it wasn't that. It was like YUAN.
Yeah, I know what it is. I don't know. I
I'm
literally
just
just said
saying.
I said this like earlier.
You did say it earlier,
And
and
like Khanate, the Golden Horde, and the Yuan. That's what it was.
yeah, Yuan Khanate. No, not a Khanate. It was a dynasty. Shut up. I know what it is. Jinx.
You want your soda?
Knock on wood.
Go ahead. There's.
I don't think this is wood.
So you want your soda? Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I ain't going for your sodas.
But then we still have to record this podcast. You can have it afterwards, James.
Yeah.
But basically, he is more or less saw himself as more of a Chinese emperor, mainly because the rest of his khanates weren't listening to him all that much. They only pretty much were just like vassal states, more or less, at that point.
Yeah, and they were. They might have conquered out of it more, but not
Honestly,
a
they
terrible
would have
amount.
probably conquered all of northern, at least most of, if not all of northern Africa, if it wasn't for the Mamluks stopping them.
Yeah, those Mamluks, seriously, they were fantastic. That was what was it? What are Mamluks? It's not horse cavalry.
Those were basically Egypt. It was basically Egypt.
Those were like Egyptian cavalry. They were really good back.
Plus,
in the
also,
day.
it's desert warfare. So.
Yeah, desert again.
It's just not really good for herding.
The Mongols are really like phenomenal at fighting when it's slightly hilly.
That's why
Or
Asia
just
was like
grass.
perfect for conquest, due to the fact
I
that
know.
Asia was a lot longer than it is taller, which means the climates didn't vary nearly as much,
Also, it's flat.
which made things a lot easier to conquer. That's why a lot of the countries, the modern day countries, are a lot longer than they are tall, except for Chile and Argentina. And a few other examples.
Yeah,
There's exceptions, like everything.
There
Like the
are.
Mongols in general are the exception.
they are the exception.
But wait for it, the Mongols.
You were the exception.
Anyways, that whole joke.
Little John Green reference there. You ever watch Crash Course?
There you go. Just to be safe, there's your plug, Crash Course. Don't go after us.
Please stop. Don't come after us. We're just.
We're supporting you.
We are merely jesting.
Anyways,
Little reference.
back on topic. So Kublai Khan tried to conquer Japan, which probably would have worked because they made boats and everything, but then a typhoon happened. So they're like, okay, we just got unlucky. Let's just try getting another typhoon.
They got hit by 2 typhoons, both destroying their fleets.
Yeah, that kind of was like, it was basically saying the devs being like, no, that's too OP. We can't allow this.
You're too OP already. We're stopping you.
But hey, at least Korea wasn't revolting.
Oh boy, at least Korea wasn't flipping out.
But yeah, Kublai Khan did quite a few different things in China, like setting up a new bureaucracy.
Didn't he bring back that whole examination system?
Yeah.
Made that better. Got a bunch of he had mostly Mongols in administration, but he would allow talented Chinese to get into it. So
Yeah. Except
that
for
was
military
good.
roles, because just the fact they didn't. Keep in mind, he just conquered a bunch of people which aren't like the biggest fans of him.
Yeah.
And he knew that Mongols were fairly loyal to him, so he kind of put them in the military. Because if your army's revolting, you basically have no leveraging power whatsoever.
Yeah, if your army revolts, you're done. So
That's where you're like, okay, we'll do your demands.
guess I'm leaving.
But yeah, that's basically all of that. Then after that, we see Kublai Khan die.
Of course, because
It happens
he
eventually.
was mortal. We all are, unless.
And then the
there's some
Khanates kind of
immortal
just
listening.
said, "Screw you, I'm being my own thing."
Yeah,
And then most of them fell.
because that's what
Central,
happens.
the Southern and Central Asia kind of, I think more correctly, just fell apart by normal things and such.
Yeah.
I think the Persian one, which was the Ilmenite Khanate, lasted quite a while. They eventually just basically became Persia.
Yeah, they basically just kind of
All
integrated in.
all of these areas are basically just integrated in, except for a few exceptions, like Mongolia still exists for one.
Yeah, most of the areas just kind of integrated into wherever they conquered until they weren't really existing.
Except for the Timurids, which came out of the whole Central Asia once again, because the fact that they were thought themselves as Mongols. They were Islamic, which wasn't really Mongol, but
Yeah, the
basically every kind of ancestor they claimed to the Mongols were Islamic.
The Mongols were kind of interesting. Genghis believed in like this weird like great blue sky thing, and
Basically, it was tied to the religion, was tied to their land, so they really couldn't spread it that efficiently.
yeah,
So he's like, you know what, we're not going to even bother trying.
yeah, they
So-
had freedom of religion for the most
Plus,
part.
actually, some of the tribes were actually Christian for some reason.
Oh yeah, of course they were Christian, because of course there was going to be some conversion still.
As well as some of them were Buddhist.
Yeah, they conquered. They
Like-
did go to.
Like, no, they're like, and they're just in the Mongolia area, not even in the empire.
Well, they still had They still had contact with Buddhism.
After
and
all, the
Christianity.
Silk Road still existed.
Yeah, the Silk Road, and they were.
Speaking
having
of the
contact
Silk
with-
Road,
Oh snap! The
Oh.
trade. Oh,
yeah,
oh, that trade.
the Silk Road basically was declined, if not basically not used at that point. And
Yeah,
then
it
Genghis brought it back, and no joke, he made it so easy to use and also very safe and secure because he valued trade, because trade is best.
Yeah, trade is
Ideas
so nice.
and goods spread everywhere, and it was pretty good. Europe had a pretty good time with it.
Yeah,
Asia did too. Everywhere they were just like, yeah, it's pretty nice.
yeah, man. It was said that you could walk from one end of the empire to the other with a golden plate on your head on that road and not be hassled at all.
And I didn't even have to
It
worry.
was so safe. Before it was like awful.
Yeah, especially if you were the Europeans trying to go through the Ottomans.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's in the future, but like just stating the fact that just how good this was,
yeah.
because they would tax everything and make you fit everything into their currency.
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah, that Silk Road was massive, like 4,000 miles.
Yeah, man, that was great.
Jeez.
That was good stuff.
4,000 miles of road.
Yeah,
Pretty extensive.
But I think it's all I really need to say about the whole Silk Road thing. Like I said, they kind of broke up. I'm talking about some of the declines of the regions, because we're at 27 minutes, since probably might as well get those last bits out.
Yeah.
Golden Horde just completely conquered by the rise of Russia, which Muscovy was basically Moscow. Yeah, surprise their connection.
Moscow,
Yeah, that was their capital. That was their capital. Basically, they managed to unify by either diplomatically or forced conquest of the Russian states. They thought Eastern Christianity was good because they learned it from the Byzantines, and yeah, they became pretty good friends. They managed to conquer everything. Novgorod was like the biggest not on Muscovy's state. That was Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They got conquered eventually. That was
Of course.
unfortunate for them. Russia expanded a lot, took down the Golden Horde. There was some Mongol descendants still, and the Tartars were really common in Crimea.
Yeah, makes
For the longest time they were there, and then they were not there.
Lovely.
yeah.
It has probably nothing to do with Stalin.
Oh, of course. Stalin never killed anyone. What? He killed
Like I said,
people.
Trotsky fell onto that ice pick all by himself.
Yes.
As in for the, like I said, the Ilan, like I said, kind of just phased out. Central Asia just fell apart. Timurids would eventually rise. They did a bunch of conquests. Then they kind of collapse.
Yeah, that
Because-
seems to happen with everyone. They do a bunch of conquests, it's awesome, and then they just collapse.
Then there was the Mughals, which they weren't really the Mongols, but they claimed to be Mongol state nonetheless. And
yeah.
they were
Even
in
though
northern.
they were in India, which isn't really where the Mongols were anyway.
Then again, Russia claiming they're Rome.
Yeah, so it.
Like the only
people are
Roman
weird
territory
with
they really
that.
claimed was a little bit of the. They had a little bit of the Black Sea coast as well as Crimea. Other than that, pretty much none of that was actually Roman.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of stupid.
But nonetheless, they claimed that. Last thing to say about the Mughals, they were fairly religiously tolerant under at least Akubakar. He was pretty cool.
Well, no, it was
Akbar.
Akbar, or just Akbar. Okay.
Yeah, it was just Akbar.
Okay.
I'm
Anyways,
pretty sure Abu
Akbar.
Bakr was one of the other gunpowder things.
Yeah.
Either the Safavids or the Ottomans.
yeah, I don't remember exactly. It's been almost.
Or it
the
was
whole
just
gunpowders.
someone after.
But I guess we'll do
Akbar.
a few more seconds. I'm gonna quickly summarize this very quickly.
And Genghis
Yeah.
did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
He
always
sponsored a
remember
bunch
that.
of science. He was religiously tolerant. He built up the Silk Roads. And any places that he conquered were unified and then improved after the Mongols took over.
Okay, 30 minutes is up, so I'm gonna call it there. Like I said, next week Border Gore. We'll also probably record something sometime soon.
Yeah,
Look forward to that.
I'm in Border Gore.
you are
Yeah.
in Border Gore, Kyler.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Signing off. I
All
don't.
right, see ya.
Yeah, see ya.